Hey there everyone, Mazarok here, and today, as you can see by my screen, we are going to be talking about add-ons, what ones I use, my setup, and things like that. A lot of people have been asking lately, what do I do for this, what do I do for that, what's that bag add-on, and things like that. So, first things first, of course, this is YouTube. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that fun jazz. Helps the algorithm, helps the channel grow, and honestly, it is hugely appreciated by me. Thank you very much in advance. I stream on Twitch Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. I'm trying on Tuesdays, sorry, and Saturdays as well. Link down in the description below. And if you're if you're looking for a fun community to kind of join, that's slowly, it is growing. That, you know, air of positivity, looking for tank advice, things like that. Discord down below for the Mazarok gaming community. Come on by, check that out. So let's get right into it fairly quickly. CurseForge is by Overwolf. It has replaced Twitch for the add-on manager for World of Warcraft and a lot of other games. World of Warcraft being the primary one that I use it for, of course. It has streamlined the process a lot more and easier, and I find it's just better. And now you can literally be in game, download an add-on on CurseForge, hit /reload in your game, and the add-on is in your game. Before, you literally had to like add the add-on, exit the game, restart the game. It was a little bit more of a process, but this is what it is. So, as you can see here, I have quite a few add-ons that I enjoy and that I keep going through. So first, I'll talk about the simple ones that I don't need to show you, and then as we go on, I'll show some of them. I'll go into the game and show you what some of them do. Number one is the Raider IO Mythic Plus and Raid Progress. This puts a little bar next to your, like, if you're pugging or things like that, where you can see what their main progress is, what their progress is, what their IO is, just outside of what the WoW score is. You can see a lot more in depth, you know, what keys have they completed? Have they done this? Have they done that? And it's a lot more information more readily at hand if you're looking for very hyper-specific things. Very, very good. This is a new one that I got, which is What's Your Covenant? What's Your Covenant? What that does is when you're pugging and you get a list of, all the people that are applying to your group, this puts a little covenant icon next to their name so you can see what they are, because sometimes you're like, all right, I need a Ventier. I need one slot for a Ventier, and you get 30 people that apply, and you're messaging them like, are you Ventier? No. Are you Ventier? No. Why are you applying? I literally said I needed a Ventier. And it's unfortunate that this is where it's come to, especially in higher end keys, where you're like, no, I need this to do the key. That's kind of how it's going to work. Some, of course, you don't have to do that in the lower keys, but once you start getting up there, those buffs start getting really, really nice. Astral keys will show you what key you have. You can hit exclamation point keys in your guild or party chat, and whoever has the add-on will also it'll auto-upload all of that so you can see what keys everyone's got, things like that. It's really, really nice. It's just a fun add-on to have. It's kind of a quality of life thing. Auto selling gray repair. All those grays, you literally open up the guy to repair, it auto repairs everything, and it sells all your grays immediately, and you don't have to do anything, and it's like instantaneously, unless you have like, I think that the cutoff is like 50 gray items in 0.5 of a second. By the time the window opens, all of your stuff is like rendered as sold, and you don't have to worry about it. But if you have a lot of stuff, you might want to keep it open just so I can process everything. Bug Grabber, Bug Sack. When you're running a lot of add-ons, you're sometimes going to get error codes, and they're going to pop up mid-fight, things like that, as like just a little pop-up screen. It's annoying. This takes care of that. So if you run a lot of add-ons and you get that, Bug Grabber and Bug Sack, really, really nice. You can also go through and see what's causing those bugs and things like that if you have to change a certain add-on and things like that. Really, really nice. Very simple. Done and done. Cross gambling. If you like gambling with Raid and Party, get it. It's an absolutely useless add-on aside from pure fun or losing or making gold. Deadly boss mods. This is what I prefer. You can also download bigwigs for raids and stuff like that. I'm the type of person, I need air sirens. Like, I need that in my head to move sometimes because I just get hyper focused. But also I'm very auditory. I listen to more auditory cues for things than I do visual cues. To the point where, like, my raid leader, she like starts off by calling certain things, and then the sentences get smaller and smaller until like she just like says a certain word, or just something, a little something, and that auditory cue for me is just muscle memory. That's what it does, because I'm a very auditory person. So DBM is a very, very good for that, where Bigwigs is, I think, I found it to be a little bit more visual. Details damage meter. It's a damage meter, but it is also so much more. You can see healing meters, interrupt counts, damage taken. There's a lot more that you can do with details, as you can kind of see on screen here. I'm showing, so if you're wondering, man, why are things not dying so fast, or why are all these casts getting off, you can literally see who is kicking stuff, who isn't, and get you an actual count. And also, for your own personal benefit, am I doing more damage than I was before? Am I getting better? Am I progressing? Things like that, so you can use that for yourself. Now, this can also be used as a pretty toxic meter at times. I mean, let's face it. Flip the coin. It's got two sides. If someone's doing low damage, don't be a dick. Try and help them out. Be nice. I mean, we've all been new at this game. We all have bad days. We're all trying to learn. Some people aren't as great as others. Some people aren't as good as others. You might catch me on stream sometimes wondering how people can do so low damage at times too, but you have to stop and forget, right? You get wrapped up in the moment and you stop and forget, like, oh man, okay, yeah, some people are still new at this game. So be nice to each other. Doom cooldown pulse. Now this one, again, this is a little bit more of a visual thing, but what it does, and I'll show you up on screen here, is it gives you a little pulse of the icon of something that when it comes off a cooldown. It doesn't do this for globals, but it will do this for cooldowns, big cooldowns, and you can adjust it. So if you need something very big, but it doesn't actually appear as a solid picture, it's just something that appears and you can move it around. I have it right next to like the right of my character, so I get about an icon about yay big that just kind of shows up transparently enough so you can see it to be like, hey, I'm off cooldown. Really, really nice to have. I like it. Friends groups. Now, if you're pugging a lot, you're going to add friends that are, great in keys and things like that, because you're like, I need to run with you more, because, why run with more pugs when you can have somebody that you know and trust? This allows you to change groups into certain things. So for me, I have like my best friends, DPS, healers, tanks, that I separate them into groups. So as I meet them, I can, if there's somebody that I've really never met in Discord or never talked to or anything, I'll put them in there. But my like actual BattleNet friends, I just put in like my best friends category and things like that. You can see that on screen on how that works there. It's just a really, really nice setup, because sometimes you add people and you're like, oh yeah, like, oh, you're on a Prot Warrior right now, but like, I'm pretty sure you were a Balanced Druid when I met you. Like, what's going on? I don't remember exactly what your thing is. So at least this way you can remember how you met them and things like that. Really, really nice. GTFO. Now, if you're the type of person that stands in bad a lot, I can get pretty bad. Or you need to do something in particular that's like movement based to stop something, GTFO will literally give you like an air raid siren, just be like brr, brr, and just like lose your shit until you move or until you jump. So for example, when you get the jumping curse in the other side, it will literally yell in your ear, like it will give you that big siren noise until you jump. And then you're fine. You're like, yeah, cool. If you're standing in Sanguine, if you think that you're like right on the edge of Sanguine, this will tell you if you're in it or not. So for people like me, really, really nice. Maze Helper, Tyrannus Scythe, you've done it. We've all done it. I'm Tyrannus Scythe 1,000 times. I'm not doing that puzzle every single time I go there, because why? Okay, it was a fun gimmick the first few times. But now I'm at that point where I've got like, 5 tanks and 1 DPS main, and we're like going through all of this. Ugh, no way. Maze Helper, I just like it. There's other add-ons for this too. This one here actually requires you to do a little bit of work. MBB. Now this one here, as you can see on screen, this is a very, very small add-on, and all it does is all of the add-on icons around your minimap, this puts them into like a drop or side drop folder. That you just kind of click, and all of your add-ons just show right up right there. You can click on them as you need, but this just cleans up that mini map of all of the icons all around it. Chef's kiss. Method raid tools, just extra raid tools that you need for things like this. Unless you're raid leading, this is probably going to come up very, very little. Or if sometimes a raid leader might ask you to do it, so share notes and things like that. Exorcist is another one that's pretty common as well. Mythic dungeon tools. Now this is for routing, tanks, things like that. Even if you're a DPS, you should download this, because when a tank shares their route, like I get a lot of us already know the main routes and things like that by now. Sorry, coffee. It's still early in the morning. We all know the main just routes and things like that, but maybe a tank has come up with something that he likes better for his class, right? For example, you take Halls of Atonement. Now, Halls of Atonement, the route's not going to change much, but what a tank pulls might change more. For example, a Vengeance Demon Hunter isn't going to stack the little Groundkeepers where a Prot Warrior will, because as long as the Prot Warrior has shield block up, keep adding as many Groundskeepers as you want. It doesn't matter. Shield block's going to just avoid it. But he's going to limit Obliterators. So if you're saving cooldowns for Obliterators, because that's where usually maybe the Vengeance Demon Hunter is packing a lot of those up, you might want to save them for, a pack where they're double, triple pulling like 3 packs of Groundskeepers at once, because that's the way he works. So it's really good for DPS management and things like that. It allows you to make your own routes, check what the affixes are, see where the inspired mobs are, and kind of go through and things like that. A really, really useful add-on. Narcissus. You may have seen some of my thumbnails in some of my previous videos. Narcissus is the add-on that allows you to do that. You take screenshots, you can do emotes and things like that. It's really, really nice, but it doesn't add any function aside from, hey, I like the way that I look. But as you can see on screen here, I'm a big fan. I really, really enjoy it. Omni Cc and Omni CD. Now these are, so you can see what the different raid CDs are left. I like this for Mythic Plus especially. I'm not a huge fan of this in raiding because there's just too many people. But in a 5-man, it works really well. So you can track whose interrupts is up, how long they have left. That is the main goal, and that is the primo. Love it to death, because especially now where kicks are so important in higher end keys, you don't want to be doubling up, you don't want to be quadrupling up, which has happened before. Example, we've little example, the stag horns in Mist. I have seen 4 kicks get used on the first cast of the stag horn, and there not be another one for the second one. That has happened. So at least this way you can be like, okay, cool, this person has a kick, and time them out, the Inferno cast, things like that. This is just a nice way to keep track, and you can also keep track of raid CDs. So like Anti-Magic Zone, Rallying Cry, things like that. You can have a little screen that's movable around. You just keep it at the bottom or things like that, so you can see what raid CDs are really available to you throughout the course of an M+. So you can be like, okay, if you're tanking, I can be a little bit more aggressive on this pull because my healer has everything, versus I shouldn't triple pull this because my healer's at 25% mana and has literally no cooldowns left, and I'm probably going to die. Very, very good judgment call, especially if you're pugging and things like that, and you don't have a healer being like, no, don't do this! Elve Ui, this is the Shadow and Light plugin. I'm going to get into Elve Ui at the end of this, because Elve Ui is one of the few that actually isn't, the main program isn't on this, but this is what gives me my entire user interface. Simulationcraft. So if you do not sim yourself as a DPS, you really, really should get the Simulationcraft add-on. What it does is it just gives you a code that you copy the whole thing. You go to raidbots.com and you can choose how to sim yourself, whether you're looking for what's the best gear out of my Great Vault, what's my damage on a hectic ad cleave or just a single target fight, for things like that. And you can kind of change things around, so you can be like, all right, this is what I should be doing if I play perfectly. All right, if I'm at 7, I'm just gonna 7k, okay? That's what it comes up as a sim, single target, 7k. But I'm only pulling 3.5. Something's wrong, because your character as is capable of so much more, but it's not translating into that. It might be rotational. It might just be a crappy fight. You might be doing more mechanics than is needed for, a raid, for example, but what you're doing is allowing your raid to succeed the fight. See? And now that might not be, your parses might be bad, but I'll take a bad parse if it means that I get through a Painsmith fight on the first try every time. Get what I'm saying? That's how that kind of works. So you have to take this in stride, but it is very, very nice. Sorted. This is my bag add-on, and oh my god, I love Sorted to death. I've tried other bag add-ons. Now, I will tell you right now, this is not for everyone. What it does, it changes your bag into one big list in which you can change by name, rarity, and things like that. Now, if you are the type of person like you do a lot of auction house stuff, and you're constantly splitting stacks, like a guild master going through that, rearranges the bank every week and things like that. This one here I find is a little bit slower than other bag add-ons, but I'm not the type of person, like, I don't do so much stack splitting that it actually matters to me. But there's a nice search function, and there's literal bars on the side where you can see like, oh, do I have this like weird quest item that's saying that I have, or it's not working, or it's not popping up on my screen? Is this an extra button? You can literally hit quest items, and it comes up as all of the quest items that you have in your bag. And for me, it's just nice and clean, and it works. I'm a big fan. All of the stuff that you use the most, so like all of my consumables, if I don't want them on my bar, I can just star them, and they always appear at the top. If there's certain gear that I want, you can manage equipment sets and things like that, and see what you got. Because another thing too is if you're on your character screen, okay, these are the equipment sets that I got, but you can't see what's in your bag that might be better. So it's just a nice way of kind of working things around it. I'm a huge fan of Sorted. Huge fan. Very good one to have. The Undermine Journal, if you do any sort of auction stuff at all, this will give you the 3-day, 7-day, and 14-day prices on what they've been on average, what the median is and things like that. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out of like, what should I put this on the auction house for, things like that. You can literally see by hovering over an item, it just enlarges a little, so it gives you the name like it normally does, although there's a little bottom, and it just gives you all the prices and things like that. If you do any auction house stuff at all, the Undermine Journal is really good. So also for price checking, even if you just buy stuff on the auction house, like let's say Spectral Flasks have been selling a lot at 415 gold. Like that's been their 3-day median. That's been their price. That's what they've been selling at. And you can buy a stack of 100 at 310 gold because they're cheap. You now know they're cheap at 310 because in the last 3 days they've been selling at 415. That's a good deal. But if they're currently, you can only get a stack of 100 for 550 each, and this is each. They've been cheaper. They were cheaper 3 days ago. They're gonna come down. Someone's just keeping the economy up on them. So it really gives you gold saving power, and what's a good deal and things like that. Weak auras. If you're playing at any competitive level at all, you already know what weak auras are. They just allow you to kind of change things around on your UI, give you certain things. For me, on like for example my protection warrior, I can track my rage, I track my shield block, I track my ignore pain, things like that. And it's not the cooldown of it, it's the duration of it. I need to know to the millisecond sometimes how much shield block I have left, where I'm in trouble, where I need to use a different cooldown and things like that. And weak auras are absolutely huge for that. If you need to track dots as a DPS class, bleeds, things like that, be like, all right, who has what bleed, this or that. You can, looking at the nameplates, when a tank does a pull of 25 mobs, well, you're not exactly tracking what everyone has and how long everything's going to go. So at least this way with certain weak auras, you have the ability to see who you're targeting, how long, what is going to last, and things like that. Tracking certain buffs on you and things like that. Like I said, shield block, slice and dice for rogues. I want to know how long that's going to last, and things like that. So weak auras, great add-on to have. Can get a little complicated at times when you're first starting. It's a very daunting up front, but once you learn the basic system, it's very easy. And to learn it, I'm not like, even if you're not going to use it, make your own weak aura. Just make one. Whatever buff you think you need. If you're a rogue, make a slice and dice weak aura so you can see how it kind of works. You can absolutely easily hit the delete button and it doesn't matter, but it's very nice to have. And of course, World Quest List. This will give you a side pop-up menu on your map whenever you go anywhere that has any world quests, so from Legion on up, and will just give you a list of what that region has. And if you're so let's say you're on the main Shadowlands map, as you can see on screen here, you see all of the zones, what every world quest is, what the rewards are, and you can just hyper target everything instead of having to go through like each zone and be like, what do you have as a reward? What do you have as a reward? This just gives you everything. So that way when you log on and you might need some world quests, you might need some anima. I mean, not anymore with Korthia, but you know, you never know. You might be like hyper anima farming because you want to get everything maxed out as quickly as possible. I don't know. You do you. It's your game. You play it the way you want. This will let you hyper target stuff. If you're just hitting a fresh 60 and you need gear, there might be a few pieces that, you know, world quest gear could help. You never know. You know, weapons aren't always the easiest thing to get and not the cheapest thing to buy at times. So maybe you don't want to spend 90k on an auction house drop. Oh, hey, look. I'm in Bastion right now, but Ardenwald has a weapon for me. Let's go! Very, very nice. And lastly is Elve Ui. Elve Ui. Now, this is the main setup for like how I kind of do things and how I like things. So if we go over here to /move UI, you just put it in the chat. This is kind of what comes up. I know it's a very daunting at the beginning, but once you kind of get the basics of it, you can choose it around. So as you see here, if you have a default UI, you have all of your bars down here. You got bar 1, bar 2, you know, bar left, right, things like that. This one here changes everything around. So this is actually an action bar. This is my first action bar where my buttons 1 through equal are there. Now I do have key bindings to change things around, but here you have up to 10 action bars, like a pet action bar. Now I know Warrior doesn't have a pet, but hunters and things like that, that's where it appears. And you can really move things around. You can change how they are. So for example, for my buttons here, how I have six in a row and six columns, 2 rows. Oh no, buttons per row. There we go. So here I need a total of 12 buttons in my bar. You can literally change that around. 6 buttons per row. Boom, done. And you can change the sizings of them, make them bigger, smaller, things like that. Some people will keep their buttons at the bottom or in the top corner anyway, and just have weak auras there where they can't press anything. I just kind of like minimizing all of that. I like, especially as a warrior, I like being able to see all my buttons because I have a lot of them. But you can go through and, you know, you can track your buffs, you can track your debuffs, nameplates going through. Now, again, this is all very daunting, and it took me a long enough time to learn this. If you're computer savvy, you'll pick it up pretty quickly. I'm kind of computer tech dumb at times, so I'm a little bit slower to learn. But once I learn something, I start getting really good at it. You can change your nameplates for enemies, friendly NPCs, what shows up above them, you know, friendly players, what do you want to see? Enemy player, if you're PvP, you're going to want to customize this more. Enemy NPC, especially if you're raiding or Mythic Plus, you want to see what they have on them, you know, what's going on. So you can change everything, change the size, if you want to make the nameplates bigger, smaller, things like that. You can really go through, see cast bars, just really change everything. There are a lot of things like unit frames. There's a lot of things that you can do, so you can change your party frames around. Now, I have gotten away from healing. I tried it, don't like it. I'm a main tank. It's what I do. It's what I say. So as a tank, I don't need to see all of my unit frames everywhere. Especially, like, I got my party frames right here. So arena frames, party frames right here. So those are always seen in Mythic Plus, but the moment I go over to a raid, they're all right there. I'm a tank. I don't need to see them all in my face all of the time. I really, really don't. I have mouse over macros for the few things that I need to do. So if I see somebody's in trouble, I can just mouse over macro their avatar, hit my charge / intercept mouse over button, and then I'm going over there instead of having to try to find their name in a bunch of bars. This is daunting, but you can really customize anything how you want. You can move things around just by a drag and drop. I know I have arena frames there, but it doesn't matter. Boss frames, target frames, player frames. You can literally change everything to be the exact way that you want, and, you know, really customize everything for yourself as well. So if you look over here, I'll get out of Move UI. So here you see there's no bars here because I have a lot of stuff that doesn't matter. That I don't need from like a minute to minute, and I need to see it all of the time. So Elve Ui is the main thing that I use for my entire setup. I do believe there is a way to share your profile, but what you're going to see as a profile is going to be a little bit different. So for example, I have weak auras here. I have my rage tracker here, and I have, you know, things like, so if I go here, I don't have enough. I need to hit an actual bar. I need to go, let's just fly over to this dummy real quick so I can build up some rage. So here you see I have my shield block. Let's go. I have my ignore pain, things like that, and I have all of the things I need to do to track. Hey, spell reflect. Here I'm tracking my rage. Those are all weak auras versus this here, this here, this here. These are all part of the Elve Ui system. I will share my profile if you are interested in having it. If I can figure out how to do it too, I'm pretty sure there is a way. I'll look that up before the video goes up, and that'll be down in the description down below. I want to thank you very, very much for sticking with me through this entire video. There are a lot of add-ons in this game, but a couple notable ones to mention. If you're looking for if you don't like doing the mission tables the way that they are, Venture Planning Bros. I'll leave a description to that one below. That one's one that you actually have to download off the site and manually add into your add-on box. A lot of people really, really like that one. I'm actually pretty good at the mission table. I very, very rarely lose it, but I'm also pretty conservative and like I know that I can do it. So I don't download that one. That one's a really, really popular add-on that a lot of people have and like. Aside from that, thank you very much for watching this video until this point. Have yourselves a great day, and I hope you guys are excited for 9.1.5 as much as I am. Thank you very much.